So we'll find out how much of a headache I just opened up for myself, but I'm installing the long tubes and hoping my steering shaft bracket won't be in the way. And down there is my oil filter assembly, and hoping that also won't be in the way. Now that I'm seeing it in person, I'm feeling a little bit better about that. We'll find out for sure once we get a little further into it. So I'm going to start on this side because this side's going to be a lot more to contend with as far as clearances are concerned. The other side may be harder to install with the starter in the way, but this side's going to be the side that may make this not want to play nice for us. So we'll get started. Unbolt the exhaust. I got the truck up in the air already. Got the wheel off as you saw, and we'll get started on this, see what happens. Ah, there we go. Now we're talking. Time to take some pictures. Right off the bat, I don't have any sort of ball flange for that, so that's going to be a little difficult, and I imagine there may be mounting hardware in here. We'll find out. This may just be just gaskets, but stickers, those are the best. Yeah, that's good. There's some nice locking hardware here. So, and then some gaskets. So we're in good shape on that end. We just need to figure out if I need to order something for the ball flanges or what. I didn't want to buy a whole Y pipe because I don't need all that, because all it's going to have to be custom fabricated. But yeah, we'll have to figure that out. Now I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with all this. I'm running out of space to work in the garage. It's getting pretty crowded in here. So I ended up having to make a cut back here because I've got another 3 or 4 foot of exhaust past that, and it was gonna be, there was another cross member that was in the way, so all that came out. Just made a cut where it was easy enough that if I am unsuccessful with the long tubes, then I can get that rewelded. But overall, I think we're in pretty good shape. Well, I had to pull off the heat shield for the driver's side to even access the bolts, so that was kind of crappy there. But we've got manifold hanging ready to come out. We'll get the test fitting the new long tube. See how that goes. So I knew these were cast, but I didn't really anticipate how heavy this thing was. So I might actually have some weight savings. So I'm gonna, I know they're different lengths too, but I really think the new long tube is lighter than this, even though it's significantly more material, but we'll see here in a second. Well, the bathroom scale indicates that just the manifolds, well, I picked up the heat shield too, but basically the manifold versus the long tube, I have a savings of 5.6 pounds per side, which is pretty substantial weight savings. And then, you know, plus the weight of the cats, which shouldn't be as heavy, but basically all the weight savings I'm gaining from having the lighter weight manifold or the lighter weight long tubes and no cats, I'm giving it back into the truck, because going to 3-inch exhausts over 2.5 inch is a little bit more material and a little bit more weight as a result. So it'll be interesting to do another weigh on the truck once we get this done and finalized and figure out where we're at for sure. And I still haven't calculated out the exact weight savings from the wheels and tires either, but anyways, we'll keep plugging away at it. Well, more bad news. So not really sure what the best solution here is yet, but I've got it close to being installed. Not every single bolt started, but enough where I've got the header kind of snug up against the block. And my steering shaft, I can get the bracket in place there, but I'm hitting really hard on the steering shaft right there, enough that it's not drivable. So I'm gonna see if I can get my buddy to help me cut and move this guy over where it fits tighter up against the head just a little bit. I don't need a whole lot there. I know a lot of people dent the tubes, but I really don't think that's going to be enough to just dent it. So I'm going to explore that option, and then I'll slide underneath and show you what I've got underneath. So under the truck, the good news is my oil filter is in no danger. The bad news is my overall header down tube assembly area points kind of more down instead of more backwards. So don't really know what the best solution here is either, but basically to be able to put the ball flange on here and then start getting the exhaust routed up where my arm is, the exhaust is going to do this really unnatural 45-degree turn, and I'm going to start sacrificing ground clearance that I don't have to give in this area. So this is basically right at the bottom of the frame right now, and still would need to put a ball flange on top of that. So don't really know. I'm kind of stuck. So trying to decide if it's even worth continuing at this point, because the you know, spent a bunch of money on this and then still don't even have anything that is usable, and I don't want to tear down the whole entire passenger side and find more issues on that side. But at the same time, if I really realistically think that I'm going to modify this side, then I really need to be able to do the other side and make sure that it's going to fit okay enough before I go down the road of modifying it. So I'm kind of stuck and I'm not really sure what to do. So I've been texting one of my welder buddies, and I know he's actually built headers before. So I'm going to poke him for some advice and figure out what the best solution is. We'll keep you updated. The other benefit of starting on the driver's side was I have so much more room on this side. So it's a little tight back in here. So I'm gonna get my wheel pulled off, and I'm gonna get some of the random stuff moved out the way and make some room to work. Well, I got enough moved over here I can get in here. Got my wheel and tire pulled off. And this looks like cake. This looks so much easier than the other side. I can't believe it. I've got like literally line of sight to everything. I don't have the ABS pump sitting there. I don't have the steering shaft bracket that I added. I don't have brake lines. Man, this side's gonna be so much easier, I hope, fingers crossed. So I'm gonna pull my heat shield off and we'll start tearing into this side and see how easy this goes. Well, so much for this side being super cake and easy, but there's two exhaust studs down in there. There you go. There's two exhaust studs here and next door, and the nut is behind the plate of the engine mount. So I'm gonna have to lift the motor up, and I'm gonna have to pull the motor mount out of this side to be able to get to all of my bolts. So that kind of sucks, but you know, kind of is what it is. I don't really have a choice. So I got myself into this mess. Now it's my turn to dig myself back out. Well, that was a colossal pain in the ass. So I can't really access that bottom engine mount bolt, but I'm gonna have to. But it's like one turn at a time, like literally one tooth on the ratchet. So what I did was I got this back one out and the top one out here, and I was able to kind of rotate the engine mount down a little bit, just enough, and then I was able to access my nuts on the and then access the manifold nuts here, and which were the two that I couldn't get to, and got everything loose. And then I couldn't get the manifold off, so I had to take out all three studs across the bottom. Once the three studs were out, I was able to pull it down and then rotate around on that bottom one there and then come out with it. So the reason I say I need to get that one out down there is I'm going to need to, with the long tubes in here, they take up more space. So I'm really going to need to notch out this engine mount plate first. I'm going to really, basically I'm going to need to notch that out and give me access points here for the socket to get to those. So I'm going to have to dish clearance these two spots out. Well, to be able to do that, I need it out of the truck, and I need to be able to, basically I need to be able to put this engine mount back in before I try to put the long tubes in. So yeah, good stuff, lots of fun. So I figured since I'm fighting this one click at a time, I might as well wait until I've got the manifold out of the way, and we'll go from there. So this just goes to show that you don't really need anything special to do this install or just work on cars in general. These are all Craftsman and gear wrench tools out of my home box. So nothing special. Only thing that I did kind of a little tricky was my 3-inch extension was a bit too long in some of my work areas, so I did stack adapters like that. So that's a 3/8 to half, and then half back to 3/8, and then I end up where I'm about an inch shorter than my 3/8 extension. So, you know, just some various ratchets and sockets, nothing crazy. Everyone needs a BFH, but yep. So I'm going to show you that. We'll walk over and check out the passenger side, which is mostly done. So it's a little bit of a squeeze. Got everything in there. Got all my locking hardware put on. I did have to hammer pretty good on this number 2 primary tube. Got really close to the frame. Had to hammer it just to even get the header actually bolted down in the correct spot. I may do a little bit more tweaking on it now that it's in, to just try to get everything to move a little bit towards the center. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm not wanting to break anything, but it's maybe worth trying to get a little bit more space on that side between the frame rail and the header. So this side's on. My driver's side still needs to get modified. My steering shaft is pretty heavily interfering right in here, so we're going to see if we can't cut and modify this guy, scoot everything inboard some. That's the goal. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. That's my welding buddy that's going to help me with that, so we'll see what kind of success we can have out of that. So it's time to load up the header and head off and get it modified.